Once upon a time, there was a good old traditional housewife. She cooked, she cleaned, cared for her children and the man of the house, and of course, she didn't talk back. She was both obedient and soft by nature. She was a good woman who always made good choices.
Shut that shit off.
We're good moms, bad choices.
Two single moms
Who said fuck the patriarchy
shared all their bad choices
and found out they weren't so bad after all.
We're experts,
overshares,
and your new besties.
Sit back and enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to Good Moms, Bad Choices.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Mila.
Happy hump day, hoes.
Happy hump day, witches.
Bitches.
Witches and
My
bitches.
And men. Hey, guys. How
Wizards.
you guys doing? How you doing? Fellas. Is that what we call them?
Fellas? Sure. It's the...
What are they called? Wait, what are the warlocks? That doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't... Like, we got to get a better word. Word.
No, wizard.
Witchman. Okay, anyway.
This week we are concluding our week in the last week of October, and it's been a witchy month. We went out for Halloween this weekend, and we went to a dinner for Erica's birthday. We celebrated Erica's birthday, and the place had like an exceptional amount of decorations and cobwebs and like old spooky pictures, and I realized there needs to be more haunted dinners, and they were playing haunted playlists, which probably wasn't necessary, but it was still really fit the vibes. We were all in costume, and then we went to go see Duckworth, and they were like a rock band, and I realized I think we need to go to a rock concert every Halloween. It just like makes sense. Haunted spooky dinner, rock concert, costumes. How'd you feel?
It feels like it conjures up something that is already like manifesting during this time, right? Like it's like the energy, we're like peeking past the veil and questioning all of our belief systems and blowing up our life if you're me. And if not, then at least you're considering dressing up like a dead person. So either way, it's spooky season. I had a really good time on my birthday. Thank you guys. Thank you to my tribe. Thank you, Mila, for putting up with my birthday shenanigans and my last minuteness of wanting to be alone, but also wanting to be with my friends, but also wanting to be alone, but wanting to be with my friends and wanting to be alone. And
not confusing at all. Not confusing at all as a friend.
Just love me and shut the fuck up, okay?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if she wants to be loved this week. If she wants us to like not love her, I don't know. Like I'm somewhere in between. I'm like texting our friends, like I think we're gonna have to force her to go out. Never mind. I don't think she's gonna go for it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know whether to believe her or to kidnap her. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Okay.
I think I need to be treated like a little baby. I needed to be treated like how my mom used to plan my parties for me. That's what I realized. I was like, when did this start sucking? It was like when I had to be responsible for my birthday. That's when it started to suck.
But you don't. I'm like, just get in the car. We're going to call a car at 6. You're like, I don't think so. I don't really feel like it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to come up there and put you in the car myself. Or if I call the car, you're not going to get in.
It was easier when you lived closer. Yeah, you would just come over and we'd, yeah.
Be like, get the fuck dressed, bitch. Now I'm like, I don't know what she's doing over there. I don't know. I don't know if she's going to hate me if I kidnap her. I don't know if I should listen to her or override her statements.
Ultimately, I'm going to figure it out. Ultimately, I realized that I need to be alone for part of my birthday. And then I need to go socialize. There's definitely a season I need to be the fuck alone for sure. And it's good, actually. I actually really had a great time. I went to the beach. I had the most amazing experience at the beach by myself. It was fucking beautiful. It was epic. It was just filled with messages and I don't know. It was just perfect. And then on music, there was like steps that have to be taken, I realized. And I realized how much, I don't know, the power of choosing an energy. I was choosing an energy to be in, and then finally I got off the wheel. It's like you just have to like jump off. And so
it's done. I'm done here. Because she did all of this literally after our last episode. I was listening to Orlando edit, and I was like, 6 o'clock, your car is going to be there. You're going to get in. And then the episode ended. She's like, no, I don't want to be around anyone. And I was like, okay. Then we get to dinner because she said 3 hours before dinner, actually, I want to go out, even though we already knew that. Then we get to dinner. She's like, where's my cake? And we're like, no one told them it's my birthday. I'm like, actually, I put it in the notes, Erica, but you just changed your mind 5 minutes ago and the waiter's a little bit slow.
I didn't change my mind 5 minutes ago. I changed my mind the day before. So you guys had plenty of time to figure out how to get a fucking cake from the restaurant to come out on time with a motherfucking candle.
Next time,
Anyway, moving on.
not psycho at all. Just totally
Anyway,
cool.
all I was saying was I love you guys and thank you, and I had a great time.
Thanks.
We have a special guest, you guys, today. We have a guest. This guest came highly recommended a few different times. And so I'm really, really grateful. I'm super excited to invite to the show Jessyka Winston, founder of House of Hoodoo.
Ooh.
Hola. Sorry you had to listen to all that bitching in silence.
Oh,
and
no,
just...
it was great.
Just had some things
Can you
to
tell
get
our
off my
water
chest.
signs? Can you tell?
It was great, and it was a challenge just holding it in and laughing in silence.
That was a how-to to having a Scorpio friend. I don't have any answers for you. Just listen to this.
I don't have any experience with Scorpio friends. I do not.
Okay. There you go.
But I have heard, as an Aquarian, I resonated with that part where you said, I just need some part of my birthday needs to be me alone and the other part needs to be social. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. You need time for you to reflect on your life so far and then to go on a bender with your friends about it. So yeah. I resonated with that.
That's what I think my birthday just conjures. It just brings in this energy of like, I have to reflect. Where am I? Am I good? Do I like where I'm at? Is it good? Is it good enough? Are you happy yet? Are you happy? Or do you feel like, so, it's actually part of the transformation. I feel like, as a Scorpion that, I haven't obviously perfected it all, but I think I'm getting closer to understanding my needs, at least that need to happen. But it's inevitable. I'm a double Scorpio. My whole chart is Scorpio pretty much. So I'm pretty like, there's a lot of like things that I'm here to unpack in this life, in this world, and investigate. And it's not always cute. And sometimes like I have to be around people and I don't know how to do that sometimes. Like I don't know how to do that in front of people sometimes, but you have to because you're living in the world and you're a mom and you're a partner and you have businesses and you have friends that want to talk to you and stuff and be around you and you want to be around them, but you're also in transformation. So healing is not cute. It's fucked up. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and the thing is that time for reflection and solitude is very necessary, but the way that it works is we're in this reality, this human experience, to understand ourselves and learn about ourselves and to experience life as in relation to others. So we do have to go out in the world and relate to others and allow others to be the mirror in which we could see ourselves. Because if there were no physical mirrors, then how would you know that you have a cute nose? How would you know if you're funny if someone doesn't laugh at your jokes? How would you know anything about you if it weren't because someone else mentioned it, made a comment about it, or expressed a feeling towards it? So we go out, relate to the world, gather all that information, all that data, like little computers that we are. And then we go home and we go to our cave and we go to a quiet place and reflect and let all of that information integrate into our beingness, into our soul. But it's a balance. We have to be out there to go and live and experience and see and gather. And then we go inside to let all of that information marinate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So to exist in this world as like with the awareness of like your spiritual being is like a whole other school of life, like there's a whole other set of things to consider when you are open to like the mystics and the esoterics and like your birthday, if you weren't a witch, you'd be like, I am just having a bad day. Fuck my friends. I don't want to go. Like you wouldn't even be leaning into the part of what does this mean? Where am I shedding? Like the signs that come on your birthday, whether big or small, whether anyone's going to like, I was talking to Orlando this weekend and I went to the bank and this man, I was just telling somebody like everybody, I go places, it's inevitable that somebody is I'm going to not even make eye contact, and someone's going to find me and make me their friend and tell me their business. And I was like literally at the bank, my back was facing the door, and this man walks in, he's trying to get an appointment. And I was like the teller, like the person who was helping us open the account wasn't even really paying attention to him. And I was like, she's like, go ask the teller. And I was like, you should make an appointment because this is my third time being here. So then he looks straight into my eyes and he's like, can I talk to you? And I was like, okay. Okay. So I move over to him. I leave the desk. I go over to him, and he literally is like, he's crying. I was like, oh my God, what just happened? He starts crying to me, telling me his personal banking business. He's in between jobs. He's struggling. He just found a job. He's on his last $20. He doesn't have any gas. EBT gets cut off on the first. All these things. So I'm holding him. I'm like holding his hand. I put my hand on his chest. I hug him. We're having a conversation for like 20 minutes. The bank teller is telling my man, like, oh no, I think he's crying. He's like, it's fine. This happens all the time. She's like, I think she's hugging him. He's like, it's normal. And he's like, he's like, it's normal. This just happens all the time. Then I go back over, I hug him, I like whatever. The teller finally comes and helps him because I obviously don't work at the bank. I go back over. The woman's like, I can't believe that you hugged that man. I was like, he needed a hug. Then she proceeds to tell me about her drama and her trauma about her pregnancy that she couldn't keep. And I was like, okay. And then whatever. I leave, I come back home, I did a tantric session with 2 friends. Everything was fine. I was feeling fine. I had a sip of wine. I had like maybe half a glass of wine. Granted, I didn't eat a lot that day. I got so sick. I was like throwing up all of a sudden. Like I felt sick within an hour. And I was like, this is so weird. Like I drink, I know my body, even when I don't eat. Like I got so ill that later in that day, I was like, is it because I touched that man? Like, is it because I exchanged his energy and he wasn't like, not that he meant harm, but like he wasn't able to hold his own energy? And then I was like, or bitch, is it just because you didn't eat and then you drank some wine and now you're sick? You know, like there's always like, I got bugs in my house. Is it because I let that man in? Like, what? It's always like you're living in 2 worlds. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Two things can be true at once. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I think that's the beauty of being spirits, having a human experience, is that the human experience is relevant and so is the spiritual, and they both happen at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like the spiritual is usually more like dominant, but we're so used to living in the physical that a lot of us don't even recognize the spiritual implications of our actions. But I'm just like living in both worlds, and like, and when I have conversations with people who are not spiritual, they're like, bitch, what are you talking about? But like, you know, just having the knowing that there's sometimes something much deeper at play, and accepting that, and like, it's just an interesting world to live in, I feel like. But anyway. I'm so happy to have you on the show, Jessyka, obviously, because I want to pick your brain and ask you all of the mystic, esoteric questions that I have that I've been holding all year long. But I really want to know about you. About you. I want to know how you got like your journey into this space and like how you've become the House of Hoodoo.
Oh my God. Where do I begin? Well, I created House of Hoodoo about 9 years ago, and I created it as a platform to share the complexities of me navigating my experience as, you know, my human experience as a spirit, and the experience that I chose, and family I was born under, and all of the belief systems and the practices that came with it. So House of Hoodoo is literally me, but I created it to connect with others who were on a similar experience, on a similar boat, where life is not black and white for you, where you don't have all the answers. You know, family is hush hush, and you have to kind of like make meals out of the breadcrumbs that were left behind for you to try to understand yourself, your origins, your spirituality, your belief system, and how you came to be. So that's how House of Hoodoo was born. It was born more of a platform meets sharing with others, and wanting to connect with others in that space of how complex it is to be a product of the diaspora, right? And then coming from cultures that are so, you know, multiracial and so diverse, and having the clash of church religion and also the pagan free flowing spirituality, and where in there do you fit in? Where in there do you belong? And from all of that, how do you like wage a path for yourself? Um, being a product of the diaspora, our lives are far from black and white, and many of us come from cultures where, especially when you come from, if you are part of the immigration wave, you come into this new land, and your family wants to start a whole new world. So a lot of what was norm, in a way they want to erase it or disconnect from it and just start this whole new life. So for me, um, House of Hoodoo was, I needed it. It was an outlet. I created it as an outlet for me to express, to share my experience of finding myself, navigating life as a spiritual being, and understanding my own spirituality and my connections to my family's spirituality, and also how do I build my own and bridge the two. Uh, and then wanting to connect with people who were on similar paths. And from there came, then eventually that gave birth to me sharing services like reading tarot. It gave birth to me teaching folk magic classes. It gave birth to me creating products like fixed candles, baths, and all kinds of other ritual tools, which are now, the House of Hoodoo Online Botanica. And that's where we are right now.
That's beautiful. I think that more people need to like go into the mystics. I think a lot of people who are of the diaspora don't recognize how much inherently we have to sort out in this lifetime because of our history. And like sometimes we just chop it up to like things being like stressful or just having anxiety or health, but like there's so much that we inherit on a cellular level that we're just so unaware of, like just like rage, anger, like there's a lot of things at play. And I appreciate you going into this work and being clear about what it's for and who it's for.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember till this day, I still find along the way, I still find folks who, and you would think, right, that we live in this age, that we live in this year 2025, that it's safe and it's okay for everybody to come out of their spiritual closet as whatever they believe in, but it's not. Like, there's a lot of people who are still living under um, that rule of family, where it's either you believe what your family believes in and you are what your family is, and there is and families still don't want to share, family secrets and family stories and where we came from and our origins or anything like that. And so I continue to find on this platform, even 9 years later, that it's still a safe space for people to come and find and find a place where they're like, oh, I can be heard, I can be seen, I can be supported. Here, the conversation, this I can come here and converse with someone, even in the chats, sorry, not the chats, even in the comments, about stuff that I can't talk to my family and my friends about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's fascinating. I have one of the work, well, amongst everything that I do this work that I call the alignment sessions. And in my alignment sessions, I've met many who come to the sessions with that intention of, I don't have anyone in my life that I can talk to about these things, that I can talk to about my spiritual experiences and the dreams that I'm having, and the visions, and I can't talk to them about any of these sensations that I'm experiencing. And so they come to the sessions just to have someone to hear them, just to be there, hold space and hear them out. And I think that's wonderful. And it also takes me aback that still till this day we still have that going on. That we aren't as free to be ourselves as maybe we sometimes like to think we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was gonna say I see that that's so prevalent everywhere, and I think I, I mean, so much of it is rooted in, like, I would say religion, and like you choosing a religion to stand by. And if you don't, then you are now, going against God, et cetera, et cetera. I have a question, because I asked you earlier before we started, you know, how you like to be, like, what's the language for what you do or what you believe in, and you said a mystic. And I was having this conversation with someone recently about just all these spiritual belief systems turned religions, and how it's all rooted in mysticism. And I'm just curious, like, to you, what does it mean to be a mystic versus, like, I don't know, a witch or a priestess? Like, are those all the same things, or like how do you identify as a mystic, and what does that mean for you?
Well, when we talk about priesthood comes from there being a hierarchy.
Hmm.
So there has to be some type of system, and there has to be some type of hierarchy. There has to be some type of ladder, because a priest is, though it's the chief, right? And so at this age, like right now at this point in my life, it's not that I'm not a priestess, it's just that I'm not leading with that, because I don't want to put myself above anyone. um I don't want to put myself in a position where I am, priestess in a temple directing people. This is not to say that maybe in the future I'll put that hat back on, but right now that's not the hat that I choose to wear. Um, a mystic is someone who is in constant communion with the divine, constant communion with source and finding divinity in everyday life. And so that's why I say I'm a mystic, because I see divinity in everything. I see the signs, I see the symbols, I see the messages, I see the communication, I see divine in everything. I see source in everything, from the most insignificant thing, from like a lipstick, right? Which is it is. I know. I see source on a lipstick just as much as I see source in the skies. Like, it's just I'm a mystic, because I'm in constant communion with source, with the divine, and the creator of everything. And a witch is uh, a woman who has taken all of the wisdom and knowledge of her experiences and the experiences of those before her, and turned that into gold, whatever that gold is to her.
Hmm.
Whether she wants to turn it into a business, or she turns it into healing, or she translates, relates it to family, whatever that is to her, right? Like, I think um like witches can be and do whatever the hell they want. Really.
Do you think witching is almost like, feels more like, when you say it like that, and I could just be reading into this, is like, it almost sounds like it's more for the service of herself. Like, yes, she has these powers to help and support others, but she's also also in for I guess, the enhancement of herself in some capacity. I mean, obviously we all are, but I don't know. Like, when you say she takes what she's learned from her ancestors and she turns it into gold, whether that's a business, whether that's healing other people, you
It's
know.
for herself. Absolutely. I think there's this ugly, and this is where the witch thing comes from. Witch, the us being called witches, witch is another form of being called a wise woman.
Mhm.
Witches were women who were wise, who
Mhm.
were educated, who were independent, free thinkers, who, I've recently learned that witches were the first people, like the women that they called witches were the women who were brewing and selling beer. So these were women who had their own businesses, right? They mastered brewing and selling beers, had their own businesses, and they called them witches because they were independent and they were making money, and a lot of money selling beer. And so that is where it comes from. If you are in it, if you are a woman who is always connected to her divinity and the divinity in everything, and at the same time you are wise and you are a leader and you are nurturing and you are independent and you are bossing, then you are a witch
And
by
you're using
definition.
those, and you're using these gifts, and it's so interesting how that sounds like a woman empowered, right? And
Exactly. That's what a
so
witch
when a
is.
woman is empowered with the tools that she's been given, has is mastering these tools, is using them to yield whatever it is, the outcomes that she wants, whether that is in love, whether that's in, cutting connections, whether that's in creating, like those things. Of course, we know over time and, throughout history, how those things have been silenced, squashed, thrown away, demonized, villainized. And of course, so is the witch, an empowered woman.
Yeah. Sorry, love, go ahead.
No, go.
A witch's power is her wisdom, her knowledge, and her application of that. In any case, whatever her wisdom, her knowledge, and her application, that is her power. And because they couldn't because you can't take someone's wisdom out of them, and you can't take their knowledge out of them. Those are the things we die with. They had to burn them, because no matter what, if these women continue to exist, their knowledge, their wisdom will continue to exist within them. And at some point, they'll find a way to apply it. And that is a threat.
Yeah, I often tell people, because I think early on, Erica and I realized that people really don't fuck with the word witch. And I'm the kind of person is like, I kind of like to delve into things that people don't like, like I kind of like to really it's interesting to me the way words have weight and what we've made them to be. And like, for so long we've seen like witches characterized in movies with as hideous, with ugly noses, and like all these or evil, or these things that we've perceived as evil. And generally the things that society has like trying to like perceive as evil are definitely, there's something there, like look at Black people, like there's a level of fear around certain things, even like the word whore, like, or hoe or slut. Like I like to utilize those words, even like when girls are like, yeah, that's my bitch, you know what I mean? I enjoy playing in the realm of like delving into things that make people uncomfortable. And I know that witch makes people uncomfortable. I know it's like heavily because of religion and all these other things, but it's like, if you are villainizing your ancestors, if you're villainizing things like sage or herbs or crystals, the things that source created, they're things that are naturally to the like our world, and like that's interesting to me. And even like all women, I feel like are witches. We have the power to create. We create people. So obviously we are alchemists at its highest high. We've turned houses into homes. We just make everything something out of nothing in every way possible. And it's like so interesting to me when I see how scared people are of the word witch, and like what does that mean to you, and how much have you been like believed what society has made this word mean, that you're so quick to throw it away or to reject a woman who identifies that way. And like I was at a tantra school meeting, and we had finished graduating, we were like gallivanting outside at night, we were naked in the pool, and we were just like formed a circle because we were just talking in a circle, and we were like skinny dipping. And then we got excited, and we were like just like going in a circle in the pool, like all holding hands and giggling, laughing so hard. And then I like had this epiphany. I was like, oh my God, witches were just happy women. Witches were happy women who were like self-actualized, and they were free in their bodies and in their skin, and they were happy women. And historically, powerful, self-actualized, happy women have been threats to the powers that be. And it was like a very simple, it was kind of a funny realization. I was like, you guys, this is it. This is what they burn bitches at the stake for. Joy and like the not needing of anyone, like, so the independence. And it's crazy how till this day that word holds such a weight, and still there is an attack on free and happy self-actualized women. And it's not the same way like being burned at the stakes, but in ways that it is. And so I feel like sometimes like taking back that word, utilizing it, because I do identify that way, I just like I feel powerful in using that word still, even though I know it scares people. And I know it scares a lot of people in like our community, particularly because of just how powerful the church has been. So I appreciate that definition of witch, because I identify with that. And like for anyone listening, women who are turned off by that word, or like, oh, I wouldn't say that publicly, or I wouldn't, you know what I mean, because of Jesus or the Bible or whatever that religious part looks like, I really encourage you to dig deeper into your own alchemy and the things that you've created, even if it's not like just a human, but like businesses, like you said, created money, opportunities. I just think our prayers are strong, our words are strong, because if you can create a child, you can create anything.
Absolutely. All of that.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
We were to say something.
Me?
Uh-huh.
No, I was listening to you.
I mean,
You gave the good word. We were all here just going with you.
Yes.
uh, I know that it's the veil. They say the veil is thin in October and November 1st for Dia de los Muertos. Are you going to celebrate, or do you do anything for that day? What are some of your rituals around this time of year?
Oh my goodness. How this year I was invited to an event, a very intimate event with some close-knit folks, close-knit friends, um, to celebrate Dia de los Muertos very proper. The way that I celebrate now in Dia de los Muertos is very intimate, very private, very much think of it as like one big remembrance and birthday. And I don't see, and the way that, most folks associate their ancestors as like something so separate from them, or these people that were these other. But for me, I see them and I see pictures and I see their names, and I just see different manifestations of me throughout different lifetimes, throughout different generations. And so in me venerating them and in honoring them, I am venerating and honoring me in different forms, in different generations, in different lifetimes, under different guises. And so it feels a lot more and a lot closer to me, and more fulfilling to approach it that way.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I think I've never viewed it as that way. I've always felt like it had to be, not had to be, but like it's this moment that's actually has nothing to do with me, and it's more so just to like honor them, because so often our ancestors go starved. I think about, sometimes I really think about that, and like think about how many ancestors are just starving on the other side because people have just cut off the opportunity for connection, or have villainized the opportunity for connection, or don't even know that it exists. But I really love that the always being connected to them as well, and like bringing them into you and being you. I think that's a beautiful way to really truly honor them and honor yourself, so that it continues to keep going, and is like a constant reminder for yourself to do this every year. Because I think about too the traditions that, like, for me, like, I'm Mexican, and like when my family came here, the only thing that we really brought was the food and the language. They didn't bring any sort of the culture, or like spiritual systems or beliefs. And now with my daughter, like, wanting to be her to have choice and understanding, and be able to do that. Is that something that you bring into your motherhood? I know that you're a mama, and I'm curious, like, how that shows up for you and your mothering.
I, in my mothering, I bring in a lot of independence and sovereignty for my son.
Mhm.
I very much, I the way that I see it, because I'm raising him on my own with family help here and there, but I will always be me. I was Jessyka before him. I'm Jessyka with him, and when he leaves my house, I'll continue to be Jessyka. And so I know I'm very conscious of that. I am his greatest, like I'm his main example. And so um, I give him, I position myself to be his protector. It's like, I'm here to protect you from threat and danger, but I'm not here to protect you from yourself. And I want you to navigate and figure out life on your own, while I'm here just to protect you from threat and danger. And so he is always watching, constantly watching everything that I do and mimicking everything that I do. Like whether, you know, in everyday life, even with my own spirituality and the way that he sees me honor my spiritual spaces and how I, you know, my morning rituals, how I sweep and light my incense, and all of these things are becoming embedded in his system. But I don't want him to grow up being this, you know, with this rigid belief of you have to do it how I do it. Let me be the foundation, but I also want you to find your own connectedness to your own soul, connect to your own soul and to your own spirit in your own way. I can be your foundation. What I do,
Mm-hmm.
my practices can be your foundation that you can, you know, lean on and support yourself on. But I want you to spring from that and be you.
Mm-hmm. So is he part of? Is he part of? I know you said this. Dia de los Muertos is very intimate. Is he part of those moments, or is there like a sense of like separation ever that occurs when in the work that you do when you have your child?
He is part of the me putting together the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but as far as the ritual aspect of it, he is not, because that requires other things that are a little bit too mature for his energy, and I don't want any kind of, you know, interference with him. But he is part of the putting together process of helping me. Uh, but he helping me go to the grocery store and pulling everything out and putting things on the table. Very helpful little creature. He is such a helpful little man. You just start opening the bags and asking. He'll point out, where do you want me to, like, where does this go? And I'm like, put it here, baby. So he's just part, he just wants to be part of everything. I'll have him bring me the incense and brings me this and bring me that. And but he's very much part of the coming together, putting together the process. But there are parts of of the veneration that are a little bit more adult, and he's not a part of that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Understood.
I know before when we were talking on the call, we talked about a lot about I really like that you said to consider when you're like making your altar, that in ways you're honoring yourself, manifestations of different versions of you in different timelines. And like I feel that, like I think people sometimes put like the ancestors or put their altar outside of them. And I think sometimes, like, because I've had questions in the past about, like, I had someone who is like been a spiritual, you know, mentor per se, and this person like completely was like, I'm taking a break from this for right now. And I was like, really? Because you're like very high in my spiritual regard of like your knowingness. And he was just telling me, like, be careful lighting candles, because not just your ancestors can come in, anybody can come, anybody from the other side can come in. Be careful just inviting, you know, like leaving offerings. And so then I was like, I kind of stopped, because I was like, okay, well then who the fuck is going to come in? And also just even like people in our lineage who have not always done great things, you know, like I have a grandfather who like cheated and had a whole nother family with the babysitter up the street, and it caused havoc in my family. And like just wondering, like, how do you honor those people while also not like holding a grudge? But I realized that, like, when you said that, as manifestations of those people, the versions of that they were in whatever time they walked the earth, it's like you have to also understand and believe that because they struggled in certain places, we have the privilege of like not undoing their wrongs, but like learning from those wrongs, seeing how they fucked up and how it affected the families, and making change in your family structure because of it. And I always say that, like, we are manifestations of like of the parts of our parents that they couldn't be, you know. So that kind of like changed my perspective too. Like, do you have any input about like being careful about keeping the offerings and the lights on, and or like do you have any protection practices that you put in place because of things like that?
The greatest protection that you can put in practice is your own vibration. You can only attract into your experience and into your space whatever vibrational state that you are in. And so if you are attracting a unsavory ancestors because you are vibrating at the same frequency that that unsavory ancestor was vibrating at. If we take into if we take into consideration the idea that past, present, future do not exist, everything is the present. And so your ancestors maybe matter cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed, and it's because energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transformed. Energy creates matter, right? And so if everything is happening right now in the present, really nobody dies and your ancestors really aren't dead. Their physical form is, but vibrationally they are they're still living and floating and being and existing. And so they are all different vibrational manifestations of you, even though you might be the one who's conscious of this body that you're in right now. And so your greatest protection is the vibration that you're in. You can only attract what you're vibrating in.
So then is it not ideal then to work with your ancestors or just in ritual if your vibration is like, if you're moving through something? I mean, obviously, like, some people run to their altars when they're in like their poorest vibration, right? In hopes of like an answer or guidance. How do you protect yourself if you're feeling unprotected? You know what I mean? Like if you are in a vibration where you feel actually totally out of control and you're seeking something or an answer through that type of work.
When you are, again, I'm wondering myself, I'm asking myself, I'm like, well, how wild is our toolbox of ancestors?
I mean,
you never know. We don't all know.
How wild is our toolbox of ancestors? For us to
imagine
like,
they come
wait a
riding through
minute.
like, yeah, bitch. Come,
Thank
finally.
God he let me in, right?
Thank God.
Because we are to, we all belong to this large family of souls and spirits, and that is where our ancestors are, right? When they're not in form, that's where they are. They are in that dimension where they remain soul, they remain spirit. And so they are constantly with you, rotating around as a presence. And in whatever vibrational, whatever state you're in, I mean, in order for you to, let's get wild, in order for you to attract or pull in a murderous ancestor, you must be in a murderous vibration.
You might be shit.
And then that ancestor is gonna come in and it's gonna support you in your murderous streak. Like, let's go Jack the Ripper on this. But we can work with tools, because your greatest protection is your vibration, because that is your vibration, your energy is what gives permission to anything in your life. There is nothing in your reality nothing can be in your reality without your permission. And your permission is you give it permission through your frequency, through your vibration. I think we assume that the permission is given consciously, where we say, I herefore give you permission. No, you have to change your energy. Your energy has to cannot, if you don't want these filthy things to get in here, then your energy has to vibrate different than it.
Oh my God, but that totally like destroys everyone's belief system that like everything is happening to them.
Well, that's not,
we
all know
like,
that's not true. Nothing is happening
I
to you.
mean,
Yeah.
but like but hearing that, I mean, a lot of people, like, I hear, you hear people, including myself. I mean, I'm not perfect in this either, where like you're choosing a vibration to be in, right? Like, I was just talking to Jamila about this, about like on the phone earlier. And it's like, you choose these vibrations, but they don't feel like you don't feel like you're choosing them. You feel like they're choosing you. Like, because I didn't ask for this to happen. I didn't tell this spirit to come through. I didn't want that person to leave me. Like, why is all this happening to me all at one time? Like, I'm moving in positivity. I'm trying to see the bright in everything. But it's like, generally that's not the truth. Generally, that is not the truth.
Well,
I mean, you might feel that way.
Yeah.
You generally might feel that way. There's usually something off. There's something off that it requires deeper, investigation. And sometimes you can't even investigate. You have to literally, someone else has to show you and tell you, or God will. I also think, like, when you said you're choosing the vibration, I also think, like, because we're godly beings, like, God is always present. Like, there's only so far, like, if you really believe in that, because again, it's about the belief system. If you really believe in God, whatever that means to you, then you know that this presence is always with you. And even when you're calling, even in your darkest energy, when you're working with this type of, magic, like, that there's a level of protection that, like, your spirit is calling in. And if it gets there, it's something that you're supposed to face, right? And that you're able to move through and not succumb to. So that's what I kept thinking, like, yeah, there's also like, it's our own vibration, but it's also like the essence of God that I feel like is in all of us, in all humans, like the fact that we're even here.
We assume that, well, the thing is that our reality is driven 95% of our reality is driven by our subconscious. And so our vibration, the vibration we're in, comes from our subconscious. Very rarely does it come from the conscious. The conscious mind has a very hard time overriding the subconscious. So if you want to change your vibration, you have to change the subconscious. You have to change the belief system that is back here, that's been embedded back here throughout how many years you've been alive. Because saying it and affirming it with your mouth and your out, that's just hot air. Doesn't mean anything. You're saying that, and then you just, it's like a quick spike and suck, and then you go back to autopilot, and
It's
then
like
you
a
go
placebo
back,
effect.
right? And you go back to your natural state. So if you want to really change the vibration and you really want to change the state, like really change it, you got to get back here. You got to get into the programming. You got to.
How do we get back there? How do you get back there, Jessyka?
That's work. It takes work. Work, and it's not affirmation, and it's not wishful thinking, and it's not just. It's really overriding an old belief system with a new belief system. That's how it works. Tools, right? Like, this is where tools come in, because in these type of conversations, you could challenge and say, well, if everything is us and everything is our vibration, then how do tools come in and how do tools help us? It's like, because the tools help us anchor the conscious decision that we want, right? Your tools. You have this candle for protection, right? Because you want protection. You want to feel protected. This candle is going to continuously remind you of the protection. And so now you are creating a program, because now you're looking at it, you are praying to it, you are writing it, you're overriding something back there. That's how it works. It has to, the subconscious is reprogrammed through repetition. And because we live in a physical reality, just wishful thinking or imagining it or speaking it doesn't work. You have to give it some form. Because we live in the world of form, we need to connect spirit to form to anchor it and manifest it faster instead of it, because then it's just hot air.
The subconscious works in like real feeling, real photos. Like if I said cat right now, you don't think of CAT, you can see a cat. So like as the physical form of, like, if you put something meaning into this protection candle and you see it every day, or your altar, you see it every day, that's going to embed differently than just saying like, whatever. Just like, just like when people are like manifesting, you could wish upon a star and want something so fucking bad. But if in your subconscious, you deeply, on a deeper level, don't truly believe that you deserve or are worthy of that thing, or you've never ridden in that car, or you've never, like, you don't believe truly that you belong there, you could wish upon a star forever and it's never going to manifest that way. And like, I think that's also like the important part of like starting the dialogue with the body that we talk about a lot in Tantra, is because when you're conscious enough to start the dialogue with the body, you'll start to be aware when things in your body don't sit right with you and they don't feel right. But a lot of us are so often on like autopilot that even when things feel uneasy in our gut or in our chest or whatever, like you don't want to go to that fucking birthday dinner, but you go anyway because so-and-so is going to get mad or whatever. You keep saying yes to things that's actually a no. You start to override your intuition, and then you're numb and you don't feel what truly feels good to you. And there's like a level of dialogue with your body you have to be in to start to shift the subconscious, so that when those negative thoughts come up, or when those things that go against what you actually want come up, you can recognize it. You can recognize, like, why am I rejecting this thing that I want so badly? It's because you don't believe that you actually deserve it. You don't believe that it's
Mhm.
actually like something that you can draw to you. And this is something that I think, um I mean, if you're even remotely a spiritual person or a person who's self-aware, this is where the work really starts to get like nitty-gritty. I think we're all, around probably the same age, and I think that this is where I'm at right now. Like, just like you were saying, when you're in a bad cycle, in a bad mood, like, there's a conscious choice that you have to be like, I'm going to get off of this now. I'm
Mhm.
done living in this reality. Like, and so often we, especially as women, have been taught that we have been taught to people please and to take on other people's um ideas and things as truth. And so a lot of times, like in relationships, for instance, when your man is doing, something, you might be fighting, trying to get out of that mindset, but like, like, you have to take responsibility in ways for your own shit, for how you feel, for what you're bringing to the table, like for the moods you're in, for the beliefs that you start to believe. When you're around people and you're assuming people are talking about you or saying something negative about you, just being conscious of the stories that you're telling yourself. Where the fuck did that form? Why am I saying this? I don't know that to be true, but I am constantly going with this route of thought pattern versus this route. But why? Like, recently, my man said something to me, because I was like, well, you said this, and so this means that. And he's like, I've said a lot of things. Why do you choose to believe the worst case scenario? He's like, you're choosing to believe the worst case scenario. What if you thought about the best case scenario? And I was like, well, what's that? What the fuck is that? But there is like, and then like, it's true. You have to start to believe. And he's like, what if nothing is wrong? What if everything's going to be just fine? What if I was not being sneaky at all? What if I was just fucking having a regular conversation, bitch? What about that? Like, what about those apples? And I'm like, that doesn't fit my storyline for not trusting people. And
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, yeah, the storyline is powerful tool, is another tool. It's literally like we have these tools that work against us, right? That we've honed so fucking well. They're as sharp as a fucking knife, right? And then we have these other tools that actually make us feel better. And we're like, yeah, I'll get to that
no,
tool later.
nah.
Let me
I'll,
tend to that a little later. I don't know. I'm too busy sharpening this one right now. That's really
I'll use it to just make myself feel like shit. I'd rather believe that nobody likes me and she's against me and he's against me, and fuck them all, because that's, people are disloyal, like, that is whatever my mom told me, or whatever, like, whatever that is. It's like something that we inherit and we start to think. But when we can start to eh, recognize when those thought patterns are fucked up and start to think the best case scenario, that's when you can start to change your subconscious. But it requires so much dedication. And even once you start to sharpen the tool, it still requires, you'll always have to do it. It's a
Mhm.
lifelong route of choosing to not stress yourself the fuck out and live in misery. And especially when we're living in places where collectively people are not that intentional with their thoughts. We're in a place where I think there's a shift happening. There's an enlightenment happening. Obviously, there's a shift happening. And I want to also like shift to that too, because as we talk about frequency, I know we were talking about like dimensions, and I don't think people really like see your frequency as living in a different dimension, but it truly is. When you can step out of the cloud of self whatever loathing or depression or whatever it is. And I know people, there's medical things too that are outside of us, but when you can see things for what's actually the good that's happening in the world, the good things that are happening to you, you can truly change your reality. And like, literally, like, quantum jump to a different dimension, and then you'll attract different people and attract a different community, and your reality will be different. But I think sometimes the frequency of the places we live, the people we keep, and the belief systems that we've been born into keep us so low, not to mention social media, where it's also designing how we think and what we feel, that we sometimes stay in those places without thinking that we have any power over our reality.
yeah, I mean, I think that's that's magic, right? Like you see people, like you often see people that like have totally transformed their lives, right? Like they've like are living totally different lives all of a sudden. You're like, what the fuck? Like who are they? First of all, who do they think they are? Because how dare they just like switch and like decide to switch timelines? Like who the fuck do you think you are? Which is crazy also for people to like look at someone. It's a lot of times it's mirroring something that you don't even know how in your life to put the toolbox together to even begin to do. Whereas then you know people that do this all the time. They jump timelines all the time. They're reinventing themselves all the time. They're a new person. They have new circles of friends. They're interacting new experiences because they've figured out whatever those that toolbox is for them, that magic is for them, that mind shift magic that it is for them. And it's available to everybody, right? Having the tools is so powerful in creating the habits and the intention and the momentum for whatever timeline it is that you're trying to jump into, right? Like I was during my birthday, um I needed a message. I was trying to search for something. So I know through my toolbox, the things that I have created, there's like for me and now this I'm so grateful for this birthday. That was the gift that I got, was like a true confirmation of the sequence of things that in my toolbox that have to happen in order for me to get an answer. I know for sure I have mastered at least one ritual or sequence of things that I know I can get and pull something from. Like I mastered that, and that's exciting for me. And like some, like you can call it witchcraft, you could call it fucking self mastery, you could call it hoodoo, you could call all these different things, right? And I think people get so wrapped up in the word, the language, all those things. Call it whatever the fuck you need to do. Just do it. Just get it. Find it. Like find what those things are for you. And I'm going to tell you 100% nature's involved. 100% movements involved. 100%, touching your body, like being in communion with your body is involved. 100% you're probably gonna have to say some shit. Maybe you might need to sing. I know I need to sing. Like I need to be near water. I like to hula hoop. Like there's things that for me, I know how to talk to source, this specific source, because then there's other things that I need to do in order to talk to my grandmother. And there's other things I need to do in order to talk to this ancestor that I don't have a name for yet, but I know it's someone, like, and I think like we've demonized these things, these tools that are literally just God given. They're so natural. They're in the Bible, actually. And um I guess what has been your experience in creating your toolbox? Like, because for me, it's been obviously it's like trial and error. Like, is there a specific realm in the work that you do that you feel like you've mastered in creating these tools for yourself?
Oh, I mean, I mean, I have different tools for different things, but when it comes to manifesting, my most trustworthy tool is writing and communicating. Is me writing down what it is, what the timeline that I want to jump to looks like, feels like, what it is like, what's there, who I am there, and then saying it, speaking it out loud. That's my
Mm,
tool. That works for me all the time. And I always do that in the presence of a candle, in presence of candlelight. This is why I have such a connection. I almost said attachment, but I don't want to say attachment, but this is why I have such a connection with candles. And, even like my first product under House of Hoodoo were fixed candles. And it's because I do everything under candlelight. I love having the candle be a point of focus, even if it's not a fixed candle. I just have like a white little candle, and I am just like focusing on this flame and allowing the noise to kind of like drift away so that my mind becomes clear, and everything and all that I have here is just what I want.
hmm
It's almost like a form of hypnotherapy.
hmm
but that works.
EDMR.
Yeah, you're just watching the candle and you're so focused on it and visualizing and imagining that timeline, that reality, and aligning with it. You are in that moment, you're aligning with it. And it's so real. You know, it goes from material, which is writing it, to then speaking it and then seeing it, to then it shifting and materializing.
Can you sorry, I was just going to ask you, what is a fixed candle for people that are listening and don't know what that means or what that is?
All right. So a fixed candle, right? Like it's a candle that you prepare with ingredients like oils, powders, herbs. Sometimes people will put crushed crystals and other minerals on it. The reason why fixed candles are, as we call them, you know, in Hoodoo culture, it's called fixed candle, but other people call them dress candles, prepared candles, but it's essentially the same thing. You know, it's like fixing a plate, right? Like old Southern term, I'm gonna fix you a plate. It's like, I'm gonna put together a plate for you. And so everything under the sun has consciousness. And when you're working, the wax has consciousness, the glass has consciousness, anything everything has consciousness, because everything is under it's under the creator's creation. Nothing is here without the creator. Nothing is here without source. Everything has source energy, everything has frequency. And so from the wax to the wicks, to the labels, to the candle, to the glass, to the oils, to the herbs, to the flame when you light it, that is all consciousness coming together to support you in your ritual. You have this little, you know, kind of like this little tool full of consciousness, and you align it with your own consciousness, and it becomes this point of focus so that you can pinpoint the reality, right? I always look at realities as like pages in a book, and I'm like, well, which page do I want to jump to? I want to jump to this page. And a candle ritual allows you to hone in on that reality and plug yourself in there and just jump in there.
When I think about this, I think about like a couple of things. Like, you have to continue to come back to your, like, you have to revisit manifestations over and over and over again, because we're like, a part of us is only aware to the scope of what we've experienced and what we've seen, right? So like as a kid, you've only seen so much. You've only seen your parents' relationship, maybe some family members' relationship, so you have an idea of what it, like, at the very bare level, what you've seen. But as you like expand, as you learn more, as you see more, you're like, oh, actually, I want that. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I want that, you know? So there's like it's like a story that's constantly being written, that you can, because ultimately we're living lives that as kids, versions of it, we wanted this. I'm living the life that I dreamed. Did I know like I was gonna be a podcaster? No, because who the fuck knew what that was back then? But like you know, there's like just levels of expansion and that your dreams and your manifestations require. And like, and in childhood, it's so easy to like feel the mystic, you know, like watching witchy movies, like going to the library trying to look for witch books and spells. There's like it's like it's mystery and it's fun, but like I feel like I had such deeper psychic powers as a child, because that's what I believed in, you know? And like I would be like, I would ask a question, and then I'm like, the first letter that I see, if it's like Y or E or E, it has Y, E, or S in it, it's a yes. If it has N or O in it, the answer is no. And I just would do that in the backseat of the car and like close my eyes and then look up at something and be like, no. And close my eyes. Like it's just like the most like why my child mind was working that way. But like coming back to those things and like everything, like you said, like we're all made up of atoms. Like, the book is made up of the same thing I'm made up of, except I'm the consciousness, like in this form, and so I'm ultimately giving it power.
Mhm.
I make what it is. Just like we were talking about, you know, those questions I was asking you about, you know, when you come in contact with certain things, it's like if that's what you believe, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, that is the truth. There's multiple truths. Like how you're experiencing this conversation and how you're experiencing this conversation, Erica, are totally different than how I'm experiencing this conversation, and we're all having the same conversation. So
Mhm.
you know, like it's just remembering to dive into your imagination in order to create your life. it can be your wildest dreams, but you have to be able to get into the dreams and the imagination.
Mhm. When I came to the realization, when I came to that awakening, right, that clarity, that awakening, that our entire experience, our whole reality, there is not a fraction of our reality that is not dictated by our belief system. I had a very, fuck it, what the fuck is the point of it? I had a very like, what the fuck is the point of it? And then I'm just not gonna believe in anything, because if making believe, not also, if my belief system always also makes me vulnerable to the things that I don't want, then what the fuck? And I just wanted like a blank slate. I don't want to believe in anything. I don't believe in blah, blah. And then I always have these moments of like clarity of like, this is why I have my morning rituals where I just wake up and the first thing I do is just light my incense and start sweeping, because in that silence and in that meditation of just sweeping around, all of the answers come and all the clarity comes. And in that and in one morning, in something like my consciousness, my higher consciousness came and spoke to me and said, you cannot the reason why you're feeling so stuck right now is because you went on a bad turn. You went on a rampage of I don't want to believe in shit. And now you're stuck in this fucking limbo. You have to believe, because it's belief that creates your reality. You cannot just not believe shit, because that's not going to cancel out everything else. It's just going to leave you suspended in this limbo of like nothingness, because you have no direction. It's like you turned off the car. You turned off the car. Turn the car back on. So turn the car back on. You have to start believing. So now, from this point on, since now you understand that your entire reality is created by your belief system, then start creating new beliefs.
Start building your motherfucking toolbox,
And
because it's literally just what do you believe works for you?
Yeah, start creating new beliefs. You cannot leave, because without the belief, you cannot have a reality. You cannot.
And that it requires the openness and like I think I was saying imagination before, like as a child, but like the openness to really just do some new shit. A lot of times we have these beliefs like that's silly or this is stupid. Even me, like we're all functioning on like this very simple, tangible 3D reality, and at a soul level, we're dimensionless. I mean, we can travel anywhere and back. You know what I mean? But we're anchored here in this form right now, and so we are living in a lot of different realities, but it's the openness that powers this 3D, like this 3D space that we're in. You know what I mean? And like we have to be able to tap into that. And just this weekend, I had a tantra session with a couple, and the guy, I was just like, some of this is going to feel stupid, but I'm inviting you to do it anyway and see where it brings you without judgment, And then the day after, a friend of mine invited me in Orlando to do like a tantra Reiki session, and I went in the room. Orlando had just worked, like he's worked every day this month. He worked on a Saturday. He was like just in there watching football, and I was like, "Hey, you want to do a tantra Reiki session with me?" He's like, "Not really. I want to watch football." And I was like, "Okay, I'll just do it by myself." And he was like, "Fine, if you want to do it, we'll do it." So we went upstairs, and I knew better than to ask like what it consisted of, because there's never going to be a step by step. Anyway, it got really good, but it was like there was a point where I was like worried, like he's going to be like, "Bitch, what are we doing? I want to go downstairs and watch football." And then there's a point where I just released and let it go and just follow the directions. And we were like rawing and maaing and growling and breathing and like, just being like, I was like, if anyone was like a fly on the wall, they'd be like, these people are absolutely crazy. But when I just dropped into my body and dropped into the instructions of whatever I was told, I had like a full body orgasm, like energy, like of just feeling tingly all over my body. And I cried, I laughed, and it almost like I took a psychedelic, but I knew that I could get there. And even me, someone who's like I could be pretty skeptical, but also I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. You know, there's a level of consciousness I have to release in order to go there and let my body ride. And I think as adults, we become more and more skeptical because we're surviving. You know, we have to survive, and so your reality is such reflection of the reality that we're living in, and that you need to pay bills, and you need to go, and you need to do this, you need to do that, that it's hard to have a level of openness to remember to keep designing your life, and to like the belief and the power comes from this other source, but just like allowing those places to both exist, you know.
Yeah. And bringing it back to imagination, you know, we have been telling ourselves since, you know, not telling ourselves, but adults telling us when we were kids, and now us telling ourselves and telling kids that, oh, it's just imagining, it's just imagining. Our imagination is source connection. Our imagination allows us to see the realities that there are within our own spectrum, so that we can project ourselves that way if that's where we want to go. If you can imagine it, you can create it, because it already exists. If it is in your imagination, then it is a reality. And it is alive, and it is living, and it is doing, and it is breathing. And it only needs your consciousness to align with it through frequency, through vibration, through belief, for you to be living it. And that's what imagination allows us to do. That's why imagination for children, it's like this is why when we were kids, we were so magical, because we imagined and then projected ourselves in that direction. We didn't question it. We believed it. If we saw it in our minds, it's like, oh, it's real, it's true, and it's happening. Now we see it in our minds and we question it. We're like, oh, it's fantasy, it's imagination. There's no way. It's like, that is our like Akashic record, like our imagination. It's the book that it's like the slides of the film that tells us, look at all the slides, look at all the options you have, look at all the choices. Which one will you pick? It's our catalog. Our imagination is our catalog, and it lets us know, like, these are the potentials and the opportunities. Do you want to align with it? All right, let's shift.
Because we don't pick the best case scenarios because somewhere someone has told us no.
Exactly.
That's not real. That's not realistic.
And that's like, you know, I was just thinking about like how happy children are, right? Because they get to choose their reality every day, and it's like until some stupid ass adult like fucking beats it out of them that just can't happen. And that's like, as adults, like we're always on like trying to remember what that felt like as a child, or like trying to go back to our childlike self, right? Or heal our inner child. And the beauty of being an adult is that we have a lot more free will than we did as children. We have the opportunity to decide who is around us supporting our reality. Whereas when we're children, you know, the person who's not supporting your reality might be your own parent, you know, might be the household that you live in. And so like, I think that sometimes as adults, we get really sad because like, oh man, it could have been different. Like if I was a kid, well, actually, it's I don't want to say it's better, but it's today. It's just as beautiful, because now you actually have the free will to really design the life you want on your own terms, and create the reality that you want on your own terms, and create the circles and the energy that you have around you on your own terms, and decide what is real and what isn't for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that just made me feel really excited, because sometimes like it's just that mindset shift, right? It's just that shift when you decide to look at it not as like, oh, I'm too old and too late, versus no, actually I'm old, it's the perfect time and I have control over my life and I can do this. Like is sometimes that mindset shift in your subconscious that now you're allowed to project into this new dimension where you're successful, where you have everything that you desire, where your relationship is like the best it's ever been, it's the juiciest it's ever been, where you're wealthy and money's on the way. You know, and thank you. This is like, feels like a gift for me too on my birthday. Cause like, this is a reminder. I know these things, but like, you have to remind, like even bad bitches, even bad witches need a reminder. Okay.
We always need it. This is what we were talking about, that we live in relations to each other. We are mirrors. These conversations are mirroring back. You're mirroring me, I'm mirroring you. I am reminding you of what you already knew. That's the whole point. And then now you take all of this information and you go to your quiet solitude, your little cave, and you let it marinate.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I know we didn't get to bad choice of the week early in the episode, but I still wanted to ask you, Jessyka, have you made any bad choices this week?
Bad mom, not a bad mom, but a bad mom. So good. I'm living.
Oh my God. Just this week.
Or this year?
Oh.
Today?
Oh my God. Bad choices. I'll say this. It's not necessarily a bad choice, but sometimes we have that little nagging thing called guilt. That's pain in the ass. And I had stopped drinking alcohol for years. I stopped drinking when I got pregnant. My son is 3 now. Stopped drinking when I was pregnant. Then once he was born, I did not drink because I was so terrified that, oh my God, I'm not going to be in my right mind to take care of him. I need to be present and focused all the time. And then this year I started drinking again, just small, socially, and for whatever reason, it felt like the guilt kicked in, like, oh, you're drinking again, and et cetera, et cetera. But then I told myself, I'm like, you know what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why am I judging myself for having a little bit of a social drink, right? Like, why is it that I'm guilting myself for drinking? Is it because I'm a mother? Is it because I'm a mother and there's that whole notion of like, oh, you're a mother, you shouldn't be drinking? Is it because I'm a mystic and people have this whole perception that mystics should not be drinking because you should always be in your sober mind and all this nonsense? So fuck it. I enjoy my whiskey. Okay.
Amen.
Okay? I enjoy my whiskey neat, my coffee black, and my bed at 3.
3?
Your bed at 3?
No,
Wait,
that's not true. No, not at all.
Okay, well, I was like,
I
wait, you
go to
lost me
sleep
there. Why are you?
No, I'm mad soft. I am mad soft. I go to sleep at 9 because I'm awake at 4.
Oh my
I was
goodness.
trying to make myself sound better than I actually am.
Girl, enjoy that drink.
Yeah,
Listen,
without
you got a
without guilt.
3-year-old. Take the edge off. It's okay, and enjoy it. Enjoy every moment of it. Enjoy the warmth it gives you in your body, the looseness it gives you, the freedom, just the mental freedom, the physical freedom. It takes you back to a time before kids. Bitch, do it. It's important.
It's
You
so
deserve.
crazy, the guilt and the shame
deserve it.
that we tell ourselves. It's like, I thought about this. I'm like, am I going to look back at my life? And I was so busy worried about the negative that I haven't even really like enjoyed the joy of it all. Like, I would hate to look back at my life and being like, I was just like a little bit happy. Like, I didn't really like expand, like really feel what it feels like. Like, this feels really good to be living in my truth, to be in love, to be like having a daughter that I love. Like, I like my house. I like this. And I like these little things, and like to be celebratory about it. Like, what is that thing that makes us like, damn, is this bad? Is this too much? Is this too much? Is this too much? If I have one drink, is this too much? Is this going to lead like that again? That what is the worst case scenario? Like, sometimes when I panic, I'm like, what am I tripping about? What is the worst case scenario? I'm going to be late. You know?
Listen, it's that programming. It's that subconscious programming. Where that's where the guilt, and that's where guilt comes from. That's where shame comes from, because
Such
we
a
all
low frequency.
we all have different things that we feel guilty for, we feel ashamed of, and it comes from the programming of not just our families but our cultures and society, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, like for me, my guilt with getting back to drinking alcohol, someone else would be like, are you crazy? That I had a drink when the baby popped out. You know what I mean? But it was my own self-imposed guilt. There was no one shaming me or looking down on me. It was my own, and I don't know where that it could have came from a variety of places. I'm not trying to figure out where it came from. I'm just saying, I'm just sending it to go somewhere else, far away from me, because I don't need to
Send
live
it
with it.
away.
Send it away.
Yeah, fuck
Fuck
it.
All of
that.
that. I'm suck it and leave me. You're like, bye.
And even the idea of too, as a mystic, that you're not supposed to drink, like, you know, like this concept that as mystics, as healers, we are supposed to check off these check boxes in order to be worthy of the work.
Show up how you want me to look or be perceived.
Yeah, and
Yes.
obviously, yes, there is a level of health and that is ideal in the practices and the work that we do, but there's also a level of like, it's okay. like like alcohol was created for us to consume, okay? And
Listen.
I mean, as long as we're not like, and even sometimes
Abusing.
shit, you know what? Like a bitch has had to get drunk a few times to just, you know, also be reminded of like, hey, like I work best this way, or like I got a message from some spirits because I was on some spirits, okay? Like I had to like actually get out of my own way and out of my mind in order to like receive messages. I'm not telling you that you need to go on a bender, bitch, to go talk to your ancestors if you're listening to this, someone who has maybe drinking problem. But I am saying that like, as women that do this work, like there's a level of grace that we have to give ourselves, and there's this level of perfection that I see so many women fall into, including myself, that actually then takes us farther away from what we're here to do. So
Mm-hmm.
drink the drink, girl.
Yeah,
Thank you for
everything. Going back to belief is going back to what we were talking about. Our belief
and the
system.
believing, the believing
Belief
that this is
system,
bad.
exactly. Belief
Nothing is
system
bad.
creates the
Nothing is
reality.
good. It
Nothing is
just
bad,
is.
nothing is good.
It
The
just
belief
is.
system is what creates our reality. Nothing is bad, nothing is good. Alcohol is neither bad nor good. What makes you know how there are people, and I'm not trying, like you say, well, I'm not trying to condone anyone to go, get liquored up and pick up an alcoholic habit. But there are, how there are people who can be consuming the same substance and one person will be sick from it and the other person won't. And it's because of the relationship and the belief system that you have towards that substance. It's not the substance itself, because everything in creation has a neutral energy. And once we become in contact with that neutral energy, then we give, through our belief, then we transform its energy to whatever we want it to be.
Right.
Be it positive, be it negative, be it healing, be it poison. But it's not the thing itself.
Never it is. It's the power we put in it. It's
Exactly.
the power we give to it. And that's another, and then like, and like, what if you had your drink and then you felt just so guilty about it and bad about it, like you won't even enjoy the drink.
No, and then you probably wake up hungover, like
with a headache,
with a headache, because you put so much thought. Yeah,
it's all in the belief, and then you can say like, well, when I was drinking, I was having such a good time, but I still woke up hungover. It's like, yes, but you have a subconscious belief that alcohol is bad for you, and so when you ingested it, it made you sick. Whether in that moment you were enjoying yourself consciously, you were enjoying yourself, your subconscious was telling the rest of your system, oh, this is poison, this is poison, this is bad. We need to feel like shit tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's how it works.
Also drink water.
Yes.
Also,
take some magnesium and zinc.
Drink a lot of water.
Prepare your body for alcohol if you're in your 30s and up. Okay.
Some electrolytes.
Yeah, for real though. If you want to do it, successfully, you got to drink equal amount parts liquor and water, equal parts.
It's all belief. Everything goes back to our belief system. Everything.
Speaking of belief systems, do you have an affirmation that you can share with our guests, our audience today, and us?
Yeah. My affirmation goes right. I'm telling you, belief has taken the lead this episode, because that's what my affirmation is. My affirmation. This is something that I'm constantly reminding myself, especially after I had that like come to Jesus moment where my higher self said to me, ma'am, the reason why you are stuck is because you turned off the car because you decided that you're not going to believe in anything anymore because you got pissed. So turn it on and believe in something. And so from that point on, my personal affirmation, it's the thing that it's just a reminder whenever I'm feeling off-centered. I remind myself that I am the architect of my own reality, and that only what I allow in my reality can have an effect on me. And my belief system creates everything in my reality. If I don't believe in it, it cannot affect me, it cannot touch me, and cannot be a part of my reality.
I am the architect of my
Of
own
my
reality. I love all of that. It's so true. It's so true. And sometimes it's so hard for you to get off the wagon of whatever reality you've been on that feels comfortable, that feels safe, even if it's hurting you and harming you and ruining everything around you. But the beauty is that you can also change that. You can get off the car, you can get out of the car and get in a new one and start it over.
Yeah, and we can be pissed about it. We can, sometimes we do get pissed about, oh, why do I have such negative beliefs? Why do I have these patterns? Why do I keep going back to the thing that I don't prefer, the thing that I don't like? And it's because your brain is designed to create patterns for your survival. This is why positive things stay in your mind. This is why positive things last so little, have such short effect, yet negative things have such long-term effect. Meaning, if someone curses you out, that will affect you much longer than if someone gave you a compliment. And it's because your brain is always trying to protect you and protect itself by holding on to these threatening moments, these threatening experiences, and creating patterns so that you don't repeat them for your own survival. But then you have to get to a place where you have to retrain your mind, retrain your brain that you're no longer in survival mode. And this is where the subconscious programming comes in. It's like, we're no longer in survival mode. We don't no longer have to follow these patterns. We no longer have to believe these things. We can believe different so that we can experience different.
You have to learn to activate our parasympathetic nervous system and know that we're not always in immediate danger.
That not every curse word, or not that someone else's rudeness is not a threat. It's not a threat to us. That's their problem. Right. That someone else our partner not responding to us immediately doesn't mean this person is doing something behind our backs. That type of stuff. We need to
reprogram.
Reprogram.
Because you open up so much space too in your mind and in your body, not being stressed, not being mad. You open up just so much space to just have less negativity, and that is invaluable.
Yeah, you open up, you get rid of clutter. I mean, naturally your brain gets rid of the information that is no longer useful, but you can help it and go further by getting rid of the patterns that are keeping you stuck in a reality that you don't want to be in.
True.
Yeah. Throw it out. Oh, well, thank you so much, Jessyka. This has been so great and just enlightening. And before we leave, did we do tarot? Do you have a deck near you, Mila? Did you pull a card?
I do. Let me go grab it. The Two of Pentacles.
Ooh.
Let's see what the Two of Pentacles says to us today. And I'm not a tarot reader, Jessyka. I just look online. So
no, this is great. No, there's no way of reading tarot, and there are no coincidences. There's a message there for us. For sure.
This is multiple priorities, time management, prioritization, and adaptability. When the Two of Pentacles appears in a tarot reading, it is safe to say you're juggling your priorities, roles, and responsibilities. For example, you may be working parent, a general manager of a business, administrative assistant in a busy office, or someone who works multiple jobs in the upright position. This card notes you're doing an excellent job of balancing those different priorities, and you can take on whatever life throws at you. But this too reminds you that the line between coping with these demands and losing control is thin. You need to manage your time, energy, and resources carefully so you do not lose your balance. It often appears when you are busy rushing from one thing to the next with little downtime in between. You may tell yourself that you've gotten enough time or you're not in a rush. However, remember that you don't have to be busy to get things done. Sometimes taking a break is the most productive thing you can do. Similarly, the Two of Pentacles can appear when you're getting caught up in the day-to-day demands and losing sight of the bigger picture. If it resonates, ask yourself, what life do I want? And how can I recognize my schedule to create the life that I desire?
It all aligns with everything we've been talking to. Are we short for time?
No, it's okay.
Oh, because listen, I want to tie this into something. I don't know if have you both seen the movie Interstellar?
Yeah, that's the one with
where they go to space and there's like parallel realities, etc., etc.
Oh yes,
the
mhm.
bookshelf.
With Matthew McConaughey, with Bookshelf. All right. So I know, crazy. I just watched it for the first time a few days ago.
It's 222 here also, just so you know. We just pulled the Two of Pentacles and it's 222.
And I'm looking, there's a bunch of twos on my screen too. in the movie has a ton of messages, right? It's got a ton of messages about dimensions. The fourth dimension being the dimension that resonates with the heart, with love, with the heart chakra frequency. There's this whole misconception of like, oh, we are ascending to the fifth dimension. It's like it's impossible for us to ascend to the fifth dimension as material beings because the fifth dimension has no form. There's no form in the fifth dimension. There is form in the fourth dimension, but it's a higher form of form. So many of us are ascending to the fourth dimension to experience reality, experience life, human life from the fourth dimension, not the fifth. There's no form in the fifth. And so out of the many messages of Interstellar, one that stuck out towards the end to me was when he returned, when he was rescued, when he got lost in space and he was rescued and he returned and his daughter was old and she was dying, but he was still young. He had only become as old as those 3 years that he was lost, right? Let's say. And immediately, like I was watching it with a friend and I'm like, oh my God, it isn't time that makes us age, like physical age. It isn't time that makes us physically age. It isn't gravity either. It is experience. The more we live in a day is what makes us old. So the less we experience, the less we live, the less we do, the less busy, the less active, the longer we live. This is why the people who live the oldest, like those old centennials, they live in areas where their life is so incredibly slow,
Costa
and
Rica.
simple. They don't have all of these things to do. And we were both looking at each other, and I was like, listen, this movie had a bunch of messages, but this one is the one that's staying with me because this is it. Like, this was my message. I need to simplify my life. Done. I don't need to be doing all these things. For what reason? I can either, what is that saying? Live fast, die young, or I can live slow and enjoy the ride. I rather live slow. I rather live slow and live long so that I can experience more, so that I can give more to all the things that are to come. I don't want to leave here. No, I want to stay.
Yeah, and like be present, because how can you actually be present if you're living fast? I think that saying "live fast, die young." Well, it made me think of MIA, "Live fast, die young, bad guy." Is, as I'm getting older, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really realizing these sayings, how like these simple sayings, like have so much wisdom. They're not just like, you can't just throw these things away anymore. Specific, like even that one, right? Like it's literally telling you to slow the fuck down or else you're going to die young. And
Yeah.
die young is perspective, right? Because you could be like, well, she doesn't look very young, and she's just like, she did a lot of shit, like, you know, like it's true. It's true that like so often we see those people that really like slowed and really enjoyed every moment, like they've lived the longest. They lived the longest.
Yeah.
And
They
it
have
feels
less.
impossible. It feels impossible sometimes in the world that we live in, but it's not, because we're choosing that
We're
reality.
choosing that
Again, we're
reality.
choosing that
Exactly.
reality.
We are choosing that reality of always having a plate full of things and responsibilities and things
Yeah.
that we need to get to and things that
Calendar is filled.
oh no. And I remember watching that movie towards the end, and I was like telling my friend, I'm like, do you remember, it's like, have you paid attention how all of these like sci-fi movies, when they go to space, they put them to sleep in the pods, because when they are sleeping, they're not experiencing and da, 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 da. And so when they wake up, they're still young, and it's because they're not experiencing life on Earth. And it's life on Earth that is making our bodies old and wrinkly, and oh
They
my God,
know.
Stress.
we need to
Hollywood knows.
stop.
Hollywood be trying to tell us shit all the
I'm like, they
time,
need to slow
bitch.
the fuck down. That is
They
the
be
fountain of
there's a,
youth.
when the world is really ending, like when it's like when we're like days away from the real world ending, we're gonna look back on all those movies and be like, they tried to tell us
They
They
try to
did.
tell us.
over and over and over.
It's
We
true.
need to slow down. We need to slow down. We got to slow down, because we are getting, this is why you look at, when there are certain people, and you look at them and they are like, you can, there are certain people that have aged a certain way, and you're like, oh wow, like life
Like, damn.
came at them. And it's true. It's not that life came at them, they went at life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they
Face
went
first,
at it.
bitch. Face first. And they could have aged differently. I truly believe that everyone, you could age differently. Like, how are you optimally aging?
Yes.
You know, because some people are like aging face first. And
Face first.
You're doing too
some
much.
people are
Paul.
aging face first. And
Face
it
first.
doesn't have to be this way, does it?
No. Oh my God. We need to slow down. That's my word. That's gonna be
That's
my
my
thing.
beauty
We gotta
hack.
slow
Look,
down.
who needs beauty creams? You don't need any more.
just
You
need
don't
to
need
slow the
any
fuck
more of this
down.
shit.
You just need to slow down. You
Yeah.
just need to slow down. And sure, the wrinkles you already have, they're not gonna go anywhere, but at least you'll be frozen in time like a vampire.
Yeah, I mean, you might lose
And
a
you'll
few.
say that age.
You
And
might
you
be able
might
to
lose some.
reverse a gray hair. Reverse
You
a few
might.
gray hairs.
You
It's
might
happened.
reverse some. You might reverse some with some really good, face yoga and really good
If
skincare
you got any
treatment.
candles for that, Jessica, make sure you go ahead and send them my way, okay?
Well, I got a beauty oil, and the beauty oil is magical from our client's perspective. The beauty oil has made hair grow, hair thicker. It has made the skin look youthful, and it's a spiritual oil, like a magic oil, and the ladies wear it. Like it's
We
the
might need to.
fountain of
I feel
beauty
like
and youth.
we
And I
need.
love
I feel
it.
like I need this. I feel like I need this at our Bali retreat. I feel like
Yeah,
the
I
bitches in
think we
Bali
need this
need the
beauty
beauty
oil.
oil. Our retreat is all about beauty and goddess, just
Yes.
confidence and like yes.
Luxury and
Love
rest
it.
and just indulging. And you know what? And also, like, capitalism tells us otherwise. Capitalism says go. Capitalism said the more fucking certificates and things you have, the more
Yep.
businesses, the better.
Yeah,
And
the
It's
more
by
you grind.
design. They want us to work till we die, and then
Yeah.
while we're dying, they want us to spend money at their hospitals. So it's like,
spend money on their prescription drugs, their hospitals, and also while we're slowly killing you, don't enjoy it much, so you don't really experience joy while you're here, and you think this is all that there is.
Exactly that. It's all a business. It's
And then,
all
when people are having fun and actually enjoying their life, you look at them sideways and think those people are weird witches.
yeah. Those people are witches, and those witches are bums. That's exactly it.
yeah, literally.
Oh, we got to slow down. That's the fountain of youth. We got to slow down. We have to do
Done.
less. Do less in our day to day,
To
and
just
be more
cross off half
present.
your list. Yeah, just do the
Cross
thing.
it off.
Cross it off. It's too much.
It's too much. Do less in your day to day and be present. Show up to everything with no expectations, because expectations rob you of the
joy.
beauty of that experience. You can't fully experience something when you've already come with your script in your head.
You've already decided. You've already decided what your belief is around this. So
And
now it's done.
that's what it is.
And now it's going to be what it's going to be.
Now
and
it's going to be the projection. Now
now
it's going
you've
to be where you're projecting onto it. Not what it actually was intended to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Jessyka. This was such a beautiful conversation. I'm so grateful that you took the time to sit down with us and share with our community. And shout out to our community for guiding us to you and connecting us to you.
Yes. Oh, I love it. Thank you all so much for sharing the good word and getting me on here. I've had a great time.
I appreciate you coming. And if you come to LA, don't forget to call us.
Oh, you know it. Oh,
Can you tell our audience where they can find all of you, everything?
All of me can be found. House of Hoodoo. So it's Haus of Hoodoo, HOODOO. So you can find me on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel and an online botanica where you could shop all of my wonderful tools that I've been creating for 9 years and many more to come.
Lovely. I'm tapping in. I need to go on your store and see. I need some candles for sure.
Oil.
And I need that beauty oil for sure.
And it smells divine.
I've taken a long break from my altar work, and like today I'm cleaning my room and I was like, it's time. Let's shit up, girl.
There is no better time than now, this season, to really get ourselves aligned, our spiritual practices.
Yes. Well, thank you for the reminder. And for us, you know where to find us at Good Moms Bad Choices everywhere. And you can follow the Good Vibe Retreat. We announced our Jamaica retreat, which by the time you're hearing this, it might be completely sold out. But if not, make sure you tap in. We have 2 other retreats in Costa Rica, a Mommy and Me retreat, and of course, our annual women's retreat that we do in this sacred, beautiful land, which also happens to be a blue zone. So if you want to get your longevity on and slow the fuck down, bitch.
Yes.
Come to Costa Rica. Make sure you tap into the Good Vibe retreat and see all the things that we're doing over there. And just remember that every day you have a new day to choose what you want to believe in and create the tools that help you get the answers you're seeking. So thank you, Jessyka, for all that you do.
Thank you.
I love you guys.
Thank you so much for having me. Reminder to all of us that we are the architects of our own reality.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm living so good, can't you tell? I went through a drought, that's until I found a well. Made my heaven on earth, I used to be broke as hell. Now I got the blues dancing like Beyonce Giselle. Throat chakra popping, it's power in our voices. Patriarchy kept it in a box to exploit us. Women put the P in power, so it's pointless. They want me to be good, so I make bad choices. Bad mom, not a bad mom, but a bad mom. Get her Zen on, put cannabis in her bath bomb. Walked in, boss was capping, I blew his cap off. Top dog now, I'm immune to the cat calls. Curvy in the waist, but straight to it like a dollar sign. Mother and a lover, intuitive like a water sign. Warrior in the winter and sensual in the summertime. I do it all, ain't no one I need to run it by.